Okay, in studio now, we are joined by Honorable Ummulkheir Harun. She is a member of parliament. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well.
Good to have you here. We have been waiting for you.
Yes, apparently I am not very familiar with the Mombasa terrain.
Oh,
Yeah. I come from Garissa, so
You are
mi
not
mgeni huku.
ukapata huku
Unakaribishwa.
sio Garissa kabisa.
Mi nadhani Garissa mahali ukiingia unatoka kuna traffic.
Yeah.
Ukajua hapa traffic.
Yeah, it's quite a very big city, but thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
You're welcome. Thank you for making time. Yeah, so you are a nominated member of parliament.
Yes.
And one would ask, what does a nominated member of parliament do?
I am nominated under the Great Party of ODM.
Yeah.
I'd like to make that very clear because I'm very proud of my party. The roles of a member is nominated is the same as an elected member of parliament. The only difference is you do not have budgets like the way you have access to the NGA funds for the communities or the NGCDF.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the mandate is the same as stipulated in the Constitution. Oversight, represent, legislate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. How did you get into politics?
I think I was always very much into politics.
Yeah.
I ran for president on TV. I was in a program called Miss President some time back on KTN.
Yeah, they were telling me about that. Yeah.
Yes, so I came in second. I ended up being a deputy. After that, I realized because when you're in the civil society space, you end up lobbying members of parliament for different policies, different legislative agendas. I was very big on education and menstrual health management policies. So sometimes you feel like you can work from inside than lobbying from the outside. So during the 22 elections, I started aligning myself more with my political party.
Yeah.
Fortunately, my party leader had come to Garissa to sell the Azimio manifesto. I got a platform to speak, and he said, I want this young lady to come and work at my office.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
So ukaenda Capitol Hill. Ukaenda Capitol Hill ama Capitol ya Azimio?
Baba alikuwa Garissa.
Wewe sasa alivyosema I want this lady to work in my office.
We didn't go to Capitol Hill. There was an Azimio secretariat that we were working, because we were looking at the bigger coalition. I was not working under the ODM offices, but the larger Azimio. I served as the board for the campaign. We were working on different manifestos for the party candidate. I was mostly in the communication sector, so I was doing the social media branding. A bit of my background is also in tech, so I was more into that particular aspect of the campaign.
I like when you say that you work from within.
Yeah.
So now you joined, and you joined in 2022.
Yes.
What impact have you had since 2022?
Actually very proud to say one of the things that I really used to lobby for was the disability agenda.
Yeah.
And I used to work especially with the deaf community, because I realized there are a lot of gaps and discrepancies in terms of the support and access that this particular group of people have. There are 2.5 million deaf Kenyans.
Yeah.
And at any given time, there are around 800 in a classroom or, in different educational setups. If you go to universities, you don't find interpreters. If you go to report maybe a GBV case, there's no interpreter at the station, no interpreter at hospitals, no interpreters pretty much in any public institution. So I used to really lobby for that. I remember in 2019-20, I did a proposal. I looked for a member of parliament to sponsor. I couldn't find one. But as soon as I was sworn in, I tabled that particular legislative proposal to provide access for the deaf community. So I'm currently sponsoring the Kenya Sign Language Bill, number 1 of 2024. It's at second reading now. If all goes well, by the end of this year, it should be an act of parliament.
Okay.
and pretty much stipulates the access and support that deaf community should have.
Ina uhusiano wote na ile ambayo Senator Asige.
Correct. So what happens when we have two different houses? We have the Senate, which is the upper house. We have the National Assembly, which is the lower house. National Assembly deals more with bills that have aspects of money. For example, you need something from the Exchequer for... So my proposal has the Kenya Sign Language Council, which will require some funding from Exchequer. At the time of second reading, Senator Sige, who's also from my party, had a similar bill, but with less components. So we sat down and we agreed to do a co-sponsorship. So we are currently working on the bill together. It has already passed Senate. It's now at the National Assembly. Second reading, so that means we go to Committee of the Whole House, third reading and presidential assentment. Senator Sige is also doing similar bills on disability. There's one that got passed. I don't know if you're aware of it. It's called the Persons with Disability, but it's not the same as Kenya Sign Language. Kenya Sign Language is addressing the language aspect of it, because Kenya recognizes English, Swahili, and sign language as official languages, but tukiwa shule we are only taught two. So the bill is proposing that we also teach school children sign language.
So that means when it's passed, then in school it's mandatory.
It's mandatory for all kinds of students, because right now with CBC it's an option. But with the bill, what it's proposing is the same way you're able to speak English, Swahili, so you should be able to speak sign language.
Gona.
Itabidi. Sijui. Umesema kuhusiana na kufanya within pale na nimeipenda sana. Lakini dhana iliyopo huku nje ni kwamba watu wengi wanaangalia wabunge wanapoingia pale bunge ni kama mambo hayasongi kama ukiwa huku nje vile tunavyotarajia. Na bado
Salasi akisema
tukirejelea tu bado tutataja huyo Salasi tukirejelea ile ya elimu kwa sababu ulikuwa na interest na elimu. Na hivi tunavyoongea katika bajeti tetesi ni kwamba imekatwa kabisa bajeti ile ya elimu. Sijui kama ina work kweli ukiwa pale ndani ama vitu viko tofauti.
No, the thing is you know, we have the ideal world and we have the reality. The ideal world is that when you come to the National Assembly, you should put a bill on the table. It should go to legislative proposal, first reading, second reading, third reading, ipite within a month. But you realize we are 349 of us. At any given time, each member of parliament has an amendment or a proposal or something they need to have that fixed. Besides that, there's also the government bills that come, which get a priority. There's also the ministry bills that come. There's the public petitions that come. I mean, it's a house of laws, so every kind of law comes to that particular house. You would find the bills taking forever. For example, my proposal came in 2022, but it came for first reading in 2024. It took a whole year. And not because people are not working or the parliament is lazy. It's because there are many other different conflicting issues of priority. If the finance bill comes, it gets a priority. If a government bill comes that needs, particular attention, everything else is
shifts there.
Is posed to address this. So that's how it works. So you find that on Wednesdays is when allocated private member bills are. So Wednesday mornings, all that sitting is for just private member bills. So you have to wait for those bills to be discussed ndo iziende zikisonga. So the challenge is that tuko wengi.
Challenge ni kwamba mko 349.
Lakini hatupunguzi mzigo.
Wajana huko. So mimi swali langu litakuja hapa. Umekuwa nominated ku represent which category?
Vijana.
Youth. Nakubaliana na hiyo bill nyingine yenye kwa second reading. Specifically ukiacha hiyo youth wamekuwa wakipiga kelele.
Yes.
Wana feel kwamba wao wametengwa. That's why pia tulipata whatever happened last year June. What ni kitu gani ambacho kwamba kiko very unique umefanya kwa ajili ya hawa vijana considering tumefika tena same space ya last year?
If you look at our country, we have very beautiful laws. Where we have a challenge is implementation. I had some few proposals when I came in, besides the sign language bill, was to find a way to support young people in the business aspects. But my former colleague, who was a nominated MP, had done quite a lot of work, as well as Sakaja, when he was a youth representative in the House, did a lot of amendments to the laws that deal with licenses that young people need to get when they're accessing businesses, blah, blah, blah. So the challenge we have is mostly implementation. I mean, I came into this space, did an assessment exactly how can I support the youth. So I brought a proposal because I realized that the county governments, most young people don't have a voice at the table in the public service board. The constitution already stipulates that they should be there as minority groups, which is the youth are part of the minority group. The disability, PWD is also part of minority group. But if you look at public service boards and how they are structured, you don't find a young person or our pewikazi wakitengeneza board. And you know the board is very powerful to be able to hold the governor accountable. So that is a bill that I had brought to be able to ensure, besides what the constitution says in general terms, but to specifically point out there has to be a youth in that particular public service board. I thought it would be able to give young people per county the voice at the table, so that governor akifanya hivi, the representative kwa board aseme hapana, sisi vijana wa hii county tunataka hivi. For example, if it's Mombasa, you have a representative at the public service board. Sadly, not all bills get to come to light. It was killed at committee stage. Based on technicalities. I've brought the proposal again, so it should be able to also come up. My hope is that kabla ni malize hii miaka 5, that becomes a law, then we are able to fight strong as young people. I try my best to stand with youth agendas. I voted against both finance bills 23, 24. I voted against them. If this particular one is tabled in the House, I'm still looking at the proposals and everything. Vijana wakisema hawataki pia mimi sitaki.
Lakini utakuwa umeperuse,
I'm still reading.
You are reading.
Yes.
Umefika pale kwa content pale.
Actually, I'll tell you something. The content, the taxation is not something new to this finance bill. It was there in 2023. If you go to my social media page, you would find me specifically talking about at that time it was 1.5 taxes on the digital tax. And I said, young people are making money. Myself, I make money from TikTok. So if young people are taxed, umepata 100,000 kwa TikTok, alafu Kenya ikuja iseme tunataka kukata tax, unakatwa kama 5,000 6,000. You see, it's not encouraging young people. I understand how the digital topography works. I am a big proponent of digital income and making money off social media. So there are things I will specifically bring amendments to that I'm working on, but you can be certain to count on my voice. I don't support that.
All right. There's a question here from one of our listeners. Good morning, Malenga. He says, to a young person listening, what do you have to do to get a nomination? And then how does a young person get to the top position in a party as big as ODM that already has life members and cartels?
I want to maybe share an experience that I've had. Unajua kitu inaitwa fear ni kitu mbaya sana. Ile uoga.
we're talking about that today.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's something that blocks a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and sorry to use this particular example, fools are able to go far in life than people who are more experienced and more educated and hold bigger titles, education levels. Unaona ule mjinga atamka asubuhi aseme mimi nataka hii, na ataenda achukue. Lakini wewe, because you've had a lot of experiences, exposure ya kiakili, unaona ai hapana. And you would see that happening in our society. The most learned, the PhDs, the educated people, the doctors, the people, the experts, and the technocrats would not run for offices. Nani atasimama viti ya uchaguzi? Ule mjinga, the most corrupt. That is because they have more confidence, and you don't think sorry to use this example.
Ummulkheir.
My point is, kujifanya mjinga inasaidia. By the time I was accessing the political spaces, I was very aloof. I blocked all kinds of fears. I did not want to know ODM is a big party. I did not want to think cartels. I did not want to think Godfather.
So,
Me, I knew nikipata chance nitafanya kazi. And I went for it. But if I decided to bring in all the factors, oh my God,
cartels.
I am a degree holder, I need to look for somebody to hold my hand. And I find napatanga vijana na niambia nimeapply kazi lakini sina Godfather. I tell them, oh, una Mungu. Why do you have to look for Godfathers? Jitume, you never know. So for me, it was just blocking that fear. I said, this is something I want. I've worked in the civil society spaces for quite some time. Nikipewa hii chance, naweza fanya kazi. And I went for it. And I met a lot of people saying, ODM, utachezwa ODM. I said, no. I had familiarity with ODM. Mi sijui chama ingine. I've been a member of ODM for the longest time.
Do you feel like your voice is being heard
yes.
in ODM?
Yes.
Yeah.
I worked during the campaign. Every proposal I brought to the table was, absorbed in the youth manifesto. The idea of having a youth ministry was something we brought as a discussion hivi tu venye tumekaa. Na tukapelekea baba na kaichukua.
Baba?
Yeah.
Okay, so then what space, having been, so you're working from within.
So for me, I think the thing I would tell young people, and it's happening, I interact with young people. Kila mtu ananiambia, wewe lazima ulipe pesa. Mimi naambia sikulipa pesa. Lazima ushikiliwe. Nikasema hapana. I just went and talked to my party leader and I said, na mimi mwenyewe after nilijituma kaona kazi yangu, when I asked for that particular seat, he said, if you can do a good job, enda chukua. That was it. We had a conversation. It's all on my TikTok, by the way. I was getting married in May, just around the time the party list was being done. So I went to sit down with him. I said, Honorable Raila, I would want you to come and attend my wedding. And he said, come to my house. So we went to his house in Karen. Tukakaa chini akatuandalia lunch, mi na my husband. After tumemaliza akasema poleni siwezi kuja harusi, I have a rally in Narok. But I would want to support you. I said, I have applied for the nomination list. Do you think I can get it? Akasema, where do you think you can do the job? Nikasema, Akasema sawa. I'll give you the job. And that was it. Mungu moja.
All right, Ome.
So for me, my encouragement to young people, that is my experience. It's different for everybody. Jitume, be at the right place at the right time. And if you believe in God, I think we all, different faiths, but we all believe in God. Hakuna kitu binadamu watakunyima. Kama Mungu amekuandikia, even if it's between a rock and a hard place, utatoboa. I want to run for office in the next election. Siwezi kaa niseme guy, sina hii hapana. I will act like a foolish person.
So you think you'd actually have a space in the Kenyan political space without them being submerged into these political parties?
I mean, you guys know Fikirini, right?
Fikirini Jacobs.
You know Fikirini.
We
were on the party list together in the Senate. He was in the Senate. I was on the National Assembly. You know the journey of Fikirini.
Very well.
He was a student here.
Pwani
University, student leader. Tulikuwa naye kwa chama activities. Kila time ODM ina mkutano, you will see Fikirini. Kujituma tu.
Saini PS.
And he's a PS today. You want to tell me Fikirini paid money to ODM, pesa gani atalipa chama imsaidie? Hakuna. Vijana mkue active, because that house needs young people in the next election.
I like that. Let's listen into somebody. Let's listen into you. What question do you have? I'm just going to play 1-0700917917. Good morning.
Good morning, Swahili Pot. I would like to say this. Kudos to our guest. Ameita our politicians just the way they are, in black and white. Fools who are very courageous. Good morning, Swahili Pot. I would like to say this. Kudos to our guest. Ameita our politicians just the way they are, in black and white. Fools who are very courageous.
That is Roslyn. Yeah. Amesema you've called a spade a spade.
Sijaita politician. But it's a figurative term, in the sense that if we continue shying away from the political space, you will leave that vacuum to the most people that are not deserving.
Yeah.
So my encouragement is 27 ndo imefika. Wewe kama you think you'd rather go to the ballot and lose than just sit back and allow somebody else with no experience or clue on what they want to do occupy that space. So we must occupy.
You need to be mpumbavu kidogo. Mpumbavu?
Siasa inahitaji
upumbavu kidogo.
Kiasi.
Kidogo tu mpumbavu.
And
I think
it's a courage.
I can be a certain fool.
I think you can.
Identify
trying.
a constituency and lead everybody there.
Yes.
Yeah.
A fool leading how what?
All right. We've been speaking to nominated Member of Parliament, that is Honorable Mohammed Ummulkheir Harun. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for making time. And I believe, Malenga, you know what? Fear itupilie mbali.
Mpumbavu kidogo.
Yeah.
Malenga kuwa mpumbavu.